Did you know that Red Bull's second seat is often called the toughest job in Formula 1? Sergio Perez, once seen as the perfect partner for Max Verstappen, now faces criticism and a fight for his seat. Let's tell you all that you need to know if you're wondering if this could be the end of Perez's time at Red Bull. The Formula 1 world is no stranger to intense rivalries and high-stakes drama, but the unfolding story of Sergio Perez and his uncertain future at Red Bull Racing might just be one of the most gripping sagas yet. With Perez under fire for inconsistent performances, whispers of discontent within the team have grown louder. Adding fuel to the fire, rising stars like Yuki Tsunoda and Lawson are vying for a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to take over one of the most sought-after seats in Formula 1. How did one of F1's most experienced drivers find himself in such a precarious position? To truly understand Sergio Perez's current predicament, we must revisit the journey that brought him to Red Bull. When Chico joined the team in 2021, it was seen as a masterstroke by Christian Horner Helmut Marko. Red Bull had been struggling for years to find a second driver who could support Max Verstappen's title ambitions after Daniel Ricciardo's departure. Perez, with his impressive resume from Racing Point, seemed like the perfect fit. His knack for tire management and consistency had earned him widespread respect in the paddock. In his first year with Red Bull, Perez delivered, helping the team clinch critical points in their fight against Mercedes for the Constructors' Championship. His victory in Baku was a standout moment, a reminder of his capability to perform under pressure. The following season saw more highs, including a memorable win in Monaco. Red Bull responded by extending his contract, signaling their trust in him. But as the saying goes, you're only as good as your last race, and the 2023 season was anything but smooth sailing for Chico. This year started with promise. Perez secured 2 wins in the first 4 races, looking poised to challenge Verstappen more closely than ever. But what followed was a dramatic slump. Over the next 19 races, Perez's performances faltered. Mistakes in qualifying sessions left him starting races far down the grid, while inconsistent race pace raised eyebrows. Despite driving the fastest car on the grid, Perez struggled to deliver results comparable to his teammate. By the end of the season, Verstappen had won a record 19 races, while Perez managed just 2 victories, a stark contrast that left Red Bull's management frustrated. So why has Perez struggled? On the surface, it's easy to blame Perez's decline on a lack of skill or focus, but the truth is far more complex. Red Bull's RB19 is a machine designed with Max Verstappen in mind. Verstappen's aggressive driving style and his ability to extract maximum performance from a car on the edge of instability are unmatched. For Perez, adapting to such a setup has proven challenging. While Verstappen thrives under these conditions, Perez's more measured style often clashes with the car's inherent characteristics. This discrepancy isn't new in Formula 1. Teams naturally gravitate towards optimizing their car around their lead driver. However, the gap between Verstappen and Perez has become a glaring issue for Red Bull, especially as competitors like McLaren and Ferrari have begun to close the performance gap. Red Bull needs a second driver who can consistently deliver podiums, and Perez's struggles have casted doubt on whether he can fulfill that role. Sergio Perez's situation at Red Bull is a tricky one, and his contract only makes it harder for the team to decide what to do next. When Red Bull extended Perez's deal after his impressive Monaco win, it seemed like a no-brainer. They trusted him to be the solid second driver alongside Max Verstappen. But fast forward to now, and that decision isn't looking so great anymore. Unlike most Formula 1 driver contracts, Perez's deal doesn't seem to have any performance clauses. This means that Red Bull can't simply let him go without a big financial hit. If they decide to cut ties with Perez before his contract ends in 2026, they could end up having to pay him a whopping $50 million. To put that in perspective, that's enough to cover the entire yearly budget of a mid-level F1 team. For a team like Red Bull, which likes to keep things financially smart, this is no small decision. And this kind of situation isn't entirely new in F1. In 2022, McLaren found themselves in a similar spot with Daniel Ricciardo. The team paid Ricciardo $20 million to leave early so that they could bring in Oscar Piastri. While that move worked out for McLaren in the long run, Red Bull's case is a bit more complicated. Replacing Perez isn't just about money, but it's also about finding the right person who can handle the immense pressure of being Verstappen's teammate. Driving for Red Bull comes with its own set of challenges. The team is built around Verstappen, and anyone stepping into the second seat needs to accept playing second fiddle while still delivering strong results, and that's easier said than done. Red Bull has seen promising drivers like Pierre Gasly and Alex Albon struggle to keep up with the intense demands of the role. For now, Red Bull must weigh their options carefully. Do they stick with Perez, hoping that he can bounce back, or take a risk with a new driver. Either way, the team faces a tough call that could impact their success in the upcoming seasons. Whatever they choose, one thing is clear: the stakes are as high as ever for Perez and Red Bull. As Perez fights to retain his seat, two young drivers in Red Bull systems are making their case for promotion. Yuki Tsunoda and Liam Lawson, both graduates of the Red Bull Junior program, have shown promise and are eager to prove that they deserve a chance at the top. Tsunoda, now in his third year with AlphaTauri, has matured significantly since his rookie season. Known initially for his fiery temperament and erratic driving, Tsunoda has worked hard to refine his approach. In 2023, he consistently outperformed his teammate and showed glimpses of brilliance. During the Abu Dhabi winter test, Tsunoda completed 127 laps and expressed confidence in the car's compatibility with his driving style. For Red Bull, Tsunoda represents a safer bet, a driver with experience and a proven ability to handle the demands of Formula One. On the other hand, Liam Lawson is the wild card. The New Zealander made headlines when he stepped in as a reserve driver mid-season and immediately impressed with his composure and adaptability. Despite limited experience, Lawson managed to hold his own against seasoned drivers. While his time in Formula One has been brief, his raw talent is undeniable. However, his lack of a full-time contract for 2024 means that his future remains uncertain. The head-to-head battle between Tsunoda and Lawson is as intense as any on-track rivalry. Statistically, Tsunoda has an edge, having outqualified and outscored Lawson during their brief stint as teammates, but Lawson's potential to grow into a top-tier driver cannot be ignored. For Red Bull, the decision between the two is as much about long-term strategy as it is about immediate results. It's up to Christian Horner and Helmut Marko to figure out this tricky situation. Both are known for making bold decisions, but this one is tough. Keeping Perez means hoping that he can find his form again while dealing with constant criticism. On the flip side, promoting Yuki Tsunoda or Liam Lawson comes with its own risk. Driving along Verstappen isn't easy. There's a lot of pressure, and not everyone can handle it. One thing's for certain though, whoever gets the second Red Bull seat has to accept being backup to Verstappen. He's the clear leader of the team, and anyone stepping into that role needs to perform without trying to outshine him. The setup hasn't worked out well for others in the past. I mean, just look at Pierre Gasly and Alex Albon, who struggled to meet expectation during their stints. So what's next for Sergio Perez? Publicly, Perez says that he's determined to stay with Red Bull and prove himself. But deep down, he probably knows that the odds aren't in his favor. If Red Bull decides to let him go, he might look for opportunities with midfield teams like Aston Martin or Haas, or he could leave Formula One entirely and try his luck in other motorsports. And for fans, the drama off the track is just as exciting as the racing itself. What do you think that Red Bull should do? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more F1 updates. See you next time.